Welcome back, everybody, to the Ice Shower After Work podcast. As promised, even though John and I did say we were going to take a little break this summer, we had committed to coming to an undisclosed location.
Yep.
Somewhere in Minnesota or Wisconsin, we won't say where, for a little get-together with Doug. Our 2024 guest of the year has a bunch of his Marine buddies over prior to a fishing trip, and we wanted to talk some shit.
Absolutely, man.
But before we get going, man, how was your month?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, it's been a month.
It's been a month.
A month.
Yeah.
I've been out of town a lot working, so it's just like, meh, it's flying by. Wife is always happy when I get home, so can't really bitch there.
You're a step up on me, man.
Yeah.
Mine's just happy that I'm making money. If I'm gone, it usually means I'm working.
Yeah.
She could give a shit.
Right.
No,
that's not true at all. Doug calls me out immediately. So as you can hear, everybody, Doug is here with us. Doug? How are you, buddy?
fucking awesome.
Our 2024 guest of the year, Doug Luebke, for his third
Yes,
recording.
yes.
Our third recording with us.
Backed by popular demand.
Exactly.
Well, there's been no demand. Let's just...
Whoa, dude, I got you a follower, man. I did.
At least
I got
one. Multiple, probably.
Lewis is like a follower. He's like a fucking
yes.
groupie, man.
Right. Shout out to Lewis and Whitney, right?
And Whitney,
And
yes.
Whitney.
And
Shout
Whitney.
out to Lewis and Whitney. Met them recently. They were good people. Lewis said he was listening, so we're glad to have them.
They're up in Duluth, Grandma's Marathon. They're running a half marathon.
Oh, that's what they're doing.
Yep.
Ah, well.
That's
just
why they
ma-
didn't make it here. He missed out, man.
That makes me fucking tired, is what that does.
Yeah, and I think Grandma's is all downhill.
Oh,
I
is
think
it?
that's why they call it that. I think the whole marathon, the half marathon, is downhill.
I could do that.
Right.
I don't know about that. I'm fucking raising the bullshit flag on
Yeah,
that.
you could. Probably.
You fucking can't find 25 miles of, even 12.5 miles of downhill in Duluth.
It's a long way.
Yeah, you really can't. Not in Duluth.
I mean, if you started in International Falls, maybe. For the non-locals,
Or
that's almost
Thunder
boring.
Bay.
Or
It's all fucking shit rolls downhill from up there.
Here we fucking
Oh,
go.
funny shit.
So things have been good with the new job since we talked to you, Doug. You're still liking it, buddy?
Yeah, yep. I do like it.
Saw Hill?
Yep, Sawhill still learning.
Still
Still learning.
He got a
But-
paper cut this last week.
Yes, he was complaining
I
about that
did.
earlier. Yeah,
No, God, no.
yeah, he's moved on from holding tools. He was complaining about a paper cut. He got
I
some
know.
vinegar in it. It wasn't good, but
No, my boss told me the other day, he goes, Doug, put down your tools and get on the phone and have somebody else do this shit.
Well, that's what you're there for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not
I just
there
needed
to
that.
work.
I just needed that, so.
that's it.
No. So now that helps out.
Very good. Well, again, welcome back, everybody. We're happy to have you here. Obviously, we're not in the east side or west side job trailer today, undisclosed location, and
Very secret.
everybody's favorite noise.
Wow. Sounds like a butt plug coming out.
That's how this night is going to go. That's not good. I don't even know what to say to that. You all smiled way too quickly for
Yeah,
me.
no vision on that one.
Oh, funny shit. Now
So
somebody's got a really bad mental image is what that was.
that's it. So we'll give you a warning, folks. This episode might be a tad twitchy. You can hear a little noise in the background and one of the neighbors spraying something off here. And we're going to have guests popping in and out. So if you got a little musical interlude in between, don't think that you lost the feed or you did something wrong. There's just going to be a little bit of tunes between the different guests today. So
Right.
as we get going, don't think that you messed up and changed something on your phone. That being said, we've got another Marine with us on the mic and the earphones here today. Denny, welcome.
Thank you.
How you doing, my man?
Doing good.
I assume this is your first podcast, Denny?
Absolutely right.
Very good.
So we like to break them in.
Doug was saying that you were part of the 13th MU, the Marine Expeditionary Unit with him.
That's correct.
Very good. And you guys go back how far? Ballpark.
89.
89.
1989.
Yep.
1989.
I was 8.
Yeah.
It'd be unfair for me to say it, but somewhere similar to that, that's for sure. Oh, yes, you guys are getting
You were
after it.
11. Shut up.
I was 11. That's true. And you've been doing this get-together for the fishing trip for a few years here now. How many of this is, how many times have you come now?
Third trip that I've came up here fishing, and I came up, I think, another at least one or two. What?
Well, you came up ice fishing. Count that one.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
But I came up where I was working, and then I got to ice fish one day.
Oh, Doug put you to work and then just gave you a break and let you have a good time?
Yes.
He's
Wow.
bad for that. That's
You're a
actually
dick.
Doug's
Dude.
MO.
I took him to a Taj Mahal in Mille Lacs. Fucking heated ice shack, blah, 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 blah. And we fucking got on a crappie, didn't we?
And to this day, that is the most expensive fish I've ever eaten in my life.
That's like expensive. It's like sushi grade
Like
shit.
$300 an ounce, I think I paid for that crappie.
Oh, that's fucking great.
The one crappie. No, we got 6.
That's
It's a joke. We had a
The
ball.
they were about the size of the shore lunch pan.
Yeah, 3-inch shore lunch pan. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, it was a fun trip. But
very good. There's 2 things that, as we were talking, kind of getting to know everybody here today, that stuck out to me. First of all, everyone, and I mean everyone, mentioned that you are an avid outdoorsman. That nobody can go out into the field with you and outdo you.
Right.
Was that part of your growing up? Did you have a father or an uncle, a mother who was just really into that? Like, where did that come from, sir?
I'd say my father got me into it, and at a young age, I just liked it. I fell in love with it, started fishing, hunting, did everything I could in the outdoors. I admired it, so just became a big part of my life.
What part of the country did you grow up in?
Oregon.
Oh, plenty of that around there.
Yes, that's why I'll probably stay there.
Myrtle Creek, Oregon.
That's right, Myrtle Creek,
Myrtle
Oregon,
Creek.
right?
Very cool.
Myrtle Creek.
Yeah, there's even a cookie named after it, I recall.
Oh, the Crippler.
The Gribblers.
Myrtle Creek Crippler.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, the Denny and his spouse make incredible cookies for anybody who don't know. And if you pick up what I'm throwing down, you know what I'm throwing down. So
Right.
yeah, that's good. So, do you what sort of hunting is there?
There's a lot of options. I focus more on the better eaten ones, I would say. So
What do you consider better eating?
elk,
Beauty.
deer, black-tailed deer, the 2 main targets. We do some bird hunting, for fun, so to speak. They are good eating, but and then the fishing part: halibut, tuna, lingcod, all types of bottom fish.
Yeah, so this is the cod Doug was talking to me about the other day. He showed me a picture of it because I grew up in Nova Scotia, so our codfish looks totally different.
Them are a type of black cod, or you got the Pacific cod. They've got a lot of different species. This is a ling, totally different, big teeth and everything.
Yeah, I saw spines on it and everything. Where our on the Atlantic side, I mean, it's just a plain, boring-looking gray-black cod. Like, there's nothing fancy about it at all. When you showed it to me, I'm like, the hell is that goddamn thing?
Yeah, they're pretty ferocious.
A lingdinger.
And good fight, and they're delicious. They really are.
Very good. Yeah, and did that come along with also learning how to navigate yourself in the woods? Did you do snaring, all that? Like, is any of that big down there?
I did some trapping back in the day. They had a bounty for coyotes, and I played around with it, but I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, there is some trapping that does go on. It's regulated pretty hard anymore.
Elusive.
So, yeah, there's things that they're elusive, but.
Well, if they were smart, they would have killed them all off like the wolves years ago. So that's probably where it's coming from.
Right.
So, how long were you in the Marines?
6 years.
6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Which years through which years? Give us a ballpark here.
86 to 92.
Okay. And where did you serve mostly?
I did a year and a half in the Philippines. Then I did 2 Westpacks, were 6 months apiece, and then did a stint over. I don't know how long we're over in Desert Storm.
Yeah.
A few months over there, and then Camp Pendleton.
Very good.
Very nice.
So Denny would have been one of the originals before you went back. Is that the case?
The second time.
Second time? Okay.
Yeah. I picked him up after our first deployment on the way back. Right. That's when I grabbed all you guys.
After the first Westpac.
Yep.
Okay.
On the way home.
Nice.
Correct.
Yep.
Very good.
Yep.
So tell me, what did you think of Doug when you met him? Be honest.
Oh, he was just a fucking boot. No, he was not boot. Denny was a seasoned patrol guide in the Philippines. He used to patrol the nuclear weapons site on the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
And keep the Filipinos out. And he was good at it.
Yeah, we hunted. They called them intruders over there.
So you got to come up with some name, right? Yeah,
Yeah, they would be trespassing in there, and honestly, I think they would hunt the fruit bats, they'd hunt the chickens and the pigs, and they were good trackers, and they were. I had a job to do, which was to find them people, and I had a knack for it. And so I got recognized pretty early. And I think a lot of that, you get awards and stuff. It goes in your record book. And that's how the big reason I got hired over into the sniper platoon is a lot of my experience. It was fun. I thought it was great, but looking back now I'm older, I'd probably let them guys hunt the chickens and stuff, but
Fuck it, right?
yeah,
They ain't doing any harm. Fuck it.
Sometimes there's a little doing what you're told in the military, so I hear. We've been early and often to say we weren't military guys,
Right.
so yeah.
No, so Denny, so when I interviewed all these guys, that was one of the things that stuck out because I'm looking at his record book, right? And looking at all his scores, his PT score, his rifle score, his pistol score, all that comes into play. And his obviously his resume, you could call it, back then when he patrolling in the Philippines. I'm like, oh, well, we kind of do some of that, don't we? So he did, and then fucking after we got back, him and I went to fucking sniper school together. He was my spotter, and I was his spotter.
Nice.
Oh, impressive.
Fuck yeah.
That was a 3-month stretch, you said, right?
Yeah. I went to graduate without him.
Well, it's honest of you, man.
Because I was good at a lot of stuff, and he was good at other stuff. He's like, Doug, you can't fucking stalk, man. You're way too fucking slow. I'd look over. I'd be like fucking on my gut, my nose in the fucking dust, getting stalk boogers, and I'm going an inch at a time, and I watch his fucking feet fly by me, and I'm like, I don't want to raise my head. I'm gonna get busted, right? Fucking Denny Rains.
5 minutes later, I'm
5
shooting and
minutes
he's
later-
still 300 yards back going.
I'm still not even in my FFP yet.
I was like, why would you crawl, man, when you could walk? And he's like, I'm scared us gonna. They can't see you. Look at that giant tree. And he's like, well, this guy's not an idiot, And so, yeah, I had that. So the stalking thing, I had a knack for too. It was just reading the terrain and know when to be on your belly and when not to. When you can, why crawl when you could walk? That's a lot of work down there, buddy.
Oh God! I probably got
tall
fucking
grass.
15 miles on my fucking gut, rubbing my face, pissing, trying to piss without getting fucking caught. Because they got guys on binos on a truck, right? And then they got a walker out with a radio, and you got all these pigs in the grass, which is a professionally instructed gunman. That's what they call you, right? No rank, no nothing. And they're all fucking trying to find a spot within 200 yards to take a blank shot at the guy on the truck. And then if you get to your FFP, what is that, 6 points? Final firing position.
Okay.
Yes.
Right? You're going to set up with your sniper rifle and your fucking tripod and your ghillie suit, and you're a fucking sniper on the ground ready to fucking kill somebody. And you take a shot with a blank, and it'll create a little puff of smoke. And the fucking spotters they're on the sound, and they'll look through their binos and they'll look for that little puff.
Yep.
If you didn't prepare for it, right? And then that's 7 points or something because you get a shot off.
Oh yeah.
Then they put the fucking the walker on you, right? Because he can see you. He's just out there walking, looking. And he'll walk right over top of you, right?
Right, yeah,
But he
10
can't-
yards to your right, check over there.
But he can't say nothing because the spotter didn't call you in, right? Or didn't call him in. So then you got to take another shot with him fucking standing right next to you. And they're looking right at him, and they're looking at you, and you take a shot, and if you don't get caught, then you get a fucking 10.
He puts his hand on your head.
Yep.
If he can't see you with his hand on your head, then he'll check your scope and
He'll check
position,
your dope.
and you
Yep.
get a 10.
Yep, you get a 10.
So
crazy.
So the movies are bullshit when they show them making live fire shots onto like a metal plate when
On
they're
a
doing that.
metal
'Cause,
plate off to the side.
Yeah, I've seen that
Yeah.
whole scenario on a
Yeah,
movie. They're not
no.
taking live shots at a metal plate. right?
Absolutely not.
I wouldn't think. Okay, I was always curious about that. That seemed real dangerous to me.
And why would you?
Right.
Right, especially from a prone position shooting up.
It's stalking. It's not shooting, right?
Right.
It's just you don't need to fire the bullet. You get in,
Oh, that's perfect, right? Well, it sounds like you
Oh,
guys
wow.
both had an interesting time at it anyway.
Yeah, it was a tough school, man. It really was.
Yeah, in 3 months, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I did total 6 months because I failed my first.
I wasn't
time.
gonna say nothing. I was
No,
not gonna
I'm
throw
not.
it.
I'm not ashamed of it.
No, you shouldn't be,
There's a
man.
lot of retreads out there. They call them retreads. Guy, I failed. They call it it's a tactical employment without troops. It's like 100 to how many 150 page report you got to write,
Handwritten.
detailed. And it was not my thing, man. And so I made it through Hell Week and everything. And before we left for the field that week, we had to hand in our toots, and they graded them That's what they called it. It was a TEWT, not toot, but. And I failed that sucker, man, and I got dropped. Even though I made it through Hell Week, and Doug graduated, so I went back the second time, and it was so easy the second time. But I think sleep deprivation was my biggest enemy. I couldn't focus.
Oh, sure.
I can only imagine. Again, we haven't been through it, so we always find it real interesting to listen and to hear some of the stories, and especially about the training when you meet the guys for the first time, right? Like, it's always real interesting.
Yeah.
Do you, was there any specific thing, I got two questions for you, about when you went through Hell Week that was, other than the sleep deprivation,
Marlin's
obviously,
my best buddy.
that was kind of tough on you?
I love you both.
Honestly, every bit of it was. They would, all our missions that they would test you on was usually, I'm going to say, an average of 3 to 5 miles walk to a location. They'd give you a grid. You go there, do whatever task you're set to, and then you got to go back and start digging a hide. And you think you got plenty of time to dig this hide, and they make it rocky. Man, they make it tough. They make it tough as possible. Their goal is not for you to graduate necessarily. They only want a few. And they do everything they can to make that possible.
Well, it sounds like that was the intent.
There you
Everything they get at is good. So, and then moving on, during your 6 years, is there a time that stands out to you that was something that you really enjoyed or is really a solid memory for you of what it was like when you were spending time in the Marine Corps?
Or if you just want to talk shit about Doug because he's not here
Yeah,
anymore.
Doug just left. We're going to introduce our new guest here in a minute. Yeah, you want to talk smack about Doug, or do you want to get Marlin introduced here first?
The worst part about Doug, I don't have a lot.
I dare you to talk shit about the boss.
I don't have a lot to say, but I will tell you this. We were on a hunting trip. He come up to Oregon. He wanted to tag along, and so I brought him on an elk hunt. And I was like, buddy, just come on, man. You can come along. So my buddy and I, Ty Campsey, I wish he was here. He didn't make it today, but we got everything up and brought Doug up. And opening day, we got into him, and I had to turn around, and I'm looking at Doug, and he said, your eyes were this big around. He said, your focus was unbelievable. When I could smell him, I could hear him, we got in him, and we got up to the elk, found him, and I shot this elk. And my buddy, there were still some other bulls in the herd. My buddies were just up on the hill. And so Doug and I walk over to this elk, and we're high-fiving and everything. And I want to take a picture. And Doug, I was like, buddy, move that rock, or so we could. And he picks up this giant rock and rolls it down the hill right where all the elk ran to in this little patch of tree.
No, Doug.
And I was like, what in the fuck are you doing? And a pretty stern voice, man. And he turned and looked at me, and he goes... He just put his hand. I was like, I don't know what I was thinking, Denny. He goes, we already got one, I thought. I was like, the other two guys don't have one yet.
And they ain't getting them now.
Yeah, so wasn't a big deal. We had our work cut out for us getting that out of there, but that was a pretty...
For what it's worth, he's told me that story, and his version was very, very similar to yours.
Exactly.
Yeah, very, very
Okay.
similar.
So the question I have for you is going through sniper training, knowing how to operate your weapon, does that take some of the fun out of hunting? Because you can probably pick them off from about wherever they're at.
Back then.
Yeah.
But as you get older, things change, and I'm not Stone Cold Steve Austin anymore. The old heart, everything you get softer as you get older, and your feelings start. It's not just it's
not a reflex anymore.
No.
It's a full body thought.
It's different.
The buck fever sets in.
Something's different now, I can tell you.
Yeah.
From when I was younger, it's not muscle memory, all that. It's you know what I mean? Things.
Mhm.
Absolutely. No, you described it very,
Absolutely.
very well.
Absolutely.
Oh.
I went through that same thing because this was the first time this last year that I went deer hunting again in like 20 years almost.
Mhm.
And the first buck that come across my scope, I put out 4 rounds at him, missed every single one of them. And then I put my gun down, and I could just feel my heart just I could feel it in my chest. I'm like, damn it, that's what that was.
Yeah, offhand, running regardless, I was pretty confident in myself. Nowadays, I have to get a rest. I really do.
Yeah, just to be sure.
I know my limitations.
Oh, I like it. So as Doug spun out there, because he does have a lot of guests here, we had another
Yes.
guest join us. Marlin, welcome, buddy.
Hey, thanks, brother.
And it's
Marlin like the gun, not the fish.
the fish.
Like the rifle, not like the fish.
and so were you 13th Mew as well?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, welcome, buddy. Appreciate you coming on the podcast with us. Just yet another one of Doug's Marine buddies that's here now who used to serve with them at one point. How many times is it now that you've been going on this trip with the boys? This is a few for you, right?
Yeah. Too many to count. Yeah, anytime that we have a trip together, we're there. You know what I mean? And we've been doing it for a long time. So
Very good.
we even had them down to Texas.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
And your spouse is Toby?
Toby.
Toby. Okay, so yeah, listen, before I forget, shout out Toby, shout out Danny, the spouses here. I meant to mention them as we go here because they do go with you on this fishing trip. Do any of them fish?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's something, because I know Nicole does not. Doug's spouse is not having it, right?
No.
But at least a few of them do. They're not just sitting in the cabin waiting for you boys to come back and tell stories all day.
Heck no. Like last time we had a reunion, we were down in Louisiana, and Denny's wife shot an alligator.
Oh, damn.
What?
Yeah.
With what?
Was that a 17 HMR?
17
or-
HMR.
That you
Wow.
just happen to have lying around?
No, we went on an actual
Oh,
alligator
okay,
hunt.
all
but
right.
she-
That makes more sense. Then. All right.
She
She fishes. She catches halibut, tuna. She deer hunts with. She'll pack deer out with me. She's absolutely helps me cut them up. She's my hunting partner.
Oh, beauty.
so-
Listen, I knew just from her
Yeah.
giving me shit when I first got here, I knew I liked Daddy right away. She seems real solid.
She's a hard worker. She does. I couldn't do it without her. It's too much work for one man. Period.
Listen, God
I
love
know
her.
I know my wife, and if she went out deer hunting with me in the stand, she'd yell out, "Run, baby, run!"
Right, yeah. My spouse loves eating it, but she won't go out there. She wouldn't help with any of that stuff. So, I did hear on that note, Marlin, that you are what would be a politically correct term? Not that we care about that on this show.
I'm from West Texas, buddy. We don't do politically
Perfect.
correct.
All right.
That's
good.
all that is.
Yeah, and I was gonna say where were you from, but the accent kind of gave it away.
Right?
I hear you're a weapons aficionado.
A weapons aficionado? I don't know about that.
A gun nut.
I'm just a West Texan. You know,
Is that everybody in West Texas then?
That's just part of our religion out there, dude. That's just how we roll.
Well,
Right.
we like that here because when I moved to the States, I very quickly realized hunting rifles are great. You got to have a pistol or two around the house. You need a shotgun just in case. I get home and all my friends back home going, wow, you turned American real quick. I'm like, no, I turned sane real quick.
Yeah.
There's a good idea to have a few firearms around. And beyond
Right.
that, it's whatever you want to have. So was that something that you did when you were in the Marines?
In the Marines, so I started out, I was an anti-tank assaultman, so I'm so old, my MOS doesn't exist anymore. So I was an 0351 Dragon gunner. So the Dragon was it's a anti-tank missile system, and it had is wire guided. So it had a wire, so so you get down and you have this thing on your shoulder, and you're shooting at a tank. And it's a missile, and it has 1,000 meters of fiber optic wire on it, and you're tracking it. So wherever you move your crosshairs, it sends a signal to the missile that has 60 pair of rocket motors in it to change direction. So you're skipping a missile into a tank. Well, the bad part about that thing is, and the reason they don't use them anymore, they went to the Javelin, is because it takes it 10 seconds to go 1,000 meters. Well, by that time, they're going to see this 60-foot ball of fire come out the back end of this thing, and they're going to turn that coaxial 50 on you, and you're going to get shredded, you know.
Right.
So that's what I started out doing, and we did demolitions and stuff like that, and armor recognition. And then I was supposed to go to embassy duty right before when I came off my first pump, so I'd been in 2 years. We just came off Westpac. And then Desert Storm came up, and so I went and I said, I want to change my orders. I don't want to go to embassy duty. I said I want to go over here to this stay platoon. You know, these guys are the shit, man. And this guy goes, man, you're fucking stupid. He goes, you don't go to embassy duty. You want to go to combat? And I'm like I'm a Marine, dude. That's what we do.
Nice.
Right.
I said I can't see myself, you know, when I'm in my 50s and 60s down the line and saying, you know, I had the opportunity to go do this, but I went to embassy duty and stood in front of a door. Nothing against those guys; their job's very important, but so that's how I ended up in state platoon. So I went over there and tried out, and then I ended up in Doug's team, actually.
Nice.
Doug found you.
Doug
Pulled
found
you
me.
in.
Yeah.
Now, so did he found you on the same flotilla back from the first Westpac?
No, when we were done, he found out maybe one of the guys, one of my sergeants knew Doug, I think from Alpha Company, and then I was like I'm a small guy, dude. I'm 155 pounds, 5'9", but they pack dynamite tight, dude. And so, especially from West Texas, and so I always had to work harder, And so I was a gungy little dude. They used to call me Chesty Jr., Chesty Puller, right?
Yeah.
Grace Marine there.
Okay.
They used to call me Chesty Jr. So he'd say, man, Chesty, you're too hard to do this shit. You need to go over there with state platoon. And I'm like, what's that? That's Scout Snipers. And I'm like, oh, you mean Carlos Hathcock, 93 confirmed kills? I'm like yeah. So, but that's how Doug, he came and, he found me over there and said, hey, Devil Dog, heard you want to try out for state platoon. I said, yes,
He
Sergeant.
does a really good Doug impression. Keep going.
And he says, show up over here. You know where we're at. We're here at the end on the barracks. And he goes, hey, and lose that gold fucking necklace you have on. It's a target indicator from hell. So I took my necklace off and I shagged my ass over there. And, it's great ever since. Best thing I ever did. Best group of guys ever.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you guys remember when you met?
Yeah, I remember when I met Denny because
He's got a real worried face.
this is the barracks right at the end of the hall, man, that don't leave the barracks. It's got the rattlesnakes in his room and cooler full of tarantulas. Tell your buddy, hey, go grab you a beer, man. You open it up and there's like 10, 11 tarantulas in there.
How funny
They
shit.
pulled out of the field. And he had a rattlesnake and a gopher snake and all kinds of stuff in his room. They're in there squirrel fishing and stuff like that. But the trade craft going from an anti-tank platoon to, of course, the Scout Sniper platoon, totally different thing. And so he was already in there, and so I was like 3 doors down, and I came down there and asked him some stuff, and he goes, "Hey, buddy, you come down here anytime you have a question, I'll help you out." So, Denny's always been great. He's always helped younger Marines out with the trade craft because I mean, ain't nobody better at it than him, dude.
Well, that's high praise for sure. Which brings up a question. What's squirrel fishing?
We had to feed the snakes.
Oh, fuck.
That's as disturbing as I thought it was.
Yeah.
Nice.
You want his take or you want the truth?
Oh, yeah, I'll take the truth as well.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
So we hear Big Bertha, which is in most of the guys' wall lockers, you have your uniforms and stuff. They had the biggest damn stereo and pair of speakers they could buy, and they had stuffed in this wall locker. So you'd hear them boom, boom, boom down there. So everybody would always kind of congregate down in Rains and Fuller's, Denny, and Jeff Fuller room down at the end of the hall, and go get you a tarantula beer, hang out with the snake, and shoot shit. So I'll go in one day, and there they are. They got their cami bottoms on. They don't have shirts on. They got their boonie covers on with little squirrel tails hanging off of them. And they got they're sitting in these chairs. They got a dip of Copenhagen in their mouth. And they got the windows of the barracks opened outward. And they took the mirrors from the wall locker off and they had them facing where they could see the ground, and they got fishing poles hanging out. And I'm like, what are you two fucking hillbillies doing, man? And they're like, we're squirrel fishing. And I'm like, what? Squirrel fishing? I'm like, I look down there and there's lines going down, and they got these Pepsi cans with the end cut out with MRE peanut butter in them. And I'm like, dude, you didn't catch no fucking squirrel like that, dude. He goes, watch me. Sure as shit, man. I hear squirrel on. We're like, you're full of shit, motherfucker. He reels his squirrel into the freaking what were you on, third floor? It's like third floor. Third floor. This dude jerks a squirrel in the barracks on the 3rd floor. Well, I hadn't really messed with squirrels much in West Texas. It's too hot for them out there.
Right.
They're meaner than shit. So
Oh,
that
boy.
squirrel gets in there, and you start seeing Marines flying, dude. That squirrel's like a Tasmanian devil from hell, man, attached to that line. And you see Marines just fly all over the place, man. And then finally Marines goes, fuck this shit. And he grabs that squirrel and he opens up that aquarium and he sticks that squirrel in there. And that freaking rattlesnake hits him. Whack! And that's the end of that squirrel. That gopher snake ate him.
Oh, damn it.
Now imagine doing something so hillbilly that somebody from West Texas says, "What are you fucking hillbillies doing in here?"
Hillbillies.
That's sad.
Oh, that's taking it to a new level. It
I
really
like it.
is.
You know, and that's just an hour out of a day of stay platoon, dude.
Right. Now, I'd say that was just a moment.
That's our life.
A bunch of moments, right?
That was our life.
That is crazy.
I gotta ask here before we're gonna let Denny take a spin here and go back to being social. But before I let you leave, man, I want to say first of all, thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah,
we really
you're
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We hope you guys have great success on your fishing trip. Tell me real quick about the Brotherhood of the Blue Falcon.
You lost me on what's the Brotherhood part of the Blue Falcon?
It's on your plaque. So it says. You ain't got it on your wall? You don't have that plaque on your
He
wall?
put that fucker away.
Okay, hold on. Now, listen, I've got multiple Blue Falcon awards since you started all this. It stemmed back from sniper school where Marlin claims
Where there was a poor little pig, a professionally instructed gunman that needed a stock to get past school and get graduated. So he goes to his mentor, the best stalker in the history of sniper school, and then go ahead.
And I said, Marlin, if you can make it to that bush right there, I guarantee you can bust a 10 out of it. The only problem is you got to beat me to it.
But there was a long pause in between there, so I'm getting ready, and I'm getting ready to hit that FFP, right? And then he says, after a long pause, if you can get there before me, and he takes off like that. And I'm like, shit, man, and I took off like a damn chihuahua after a cat, man. Shit, they busted me like that, man. They're like, what the hell is this little Christmas tree shooting down this pig trail at us, man? What the hell is that shit?
Chili
We've never
soupy
seen
damn.
stuff like that before. Yeah, and then, but his face, you could tell, dude, like as soon as he saw me take off like that, he's like, oh, shit, you know. And,
That was funny.
I
That's
like it.
great.
but I like to rub it in. We love each other, man. It's great
Absolutely.
stuff, you know.
Oh, I love it when you have all those stories, and that's what we were hoping for today. So
Yeah.
that's real good.
It's the whole point of this episode.
Right.
is-
I will say this, Marlon, you did say something nice about me, and this is something somebody needs to be said tonight. That I would say when people ask about Marlon Reeves or to explain him to me, he's the only guy I ever served with. I can honestly say if somebody threw a grenade in the room, he would jump on it.
High praise.
Wow, that's impressive.
Everybody
praise.
else would run,
That's
get
insane.
the fuck out. I'm serious. There'd be people be jumping through windows. That guy'd dive on it.
High praise. That's good.
And
Right,
I
wow.
feel that way. So
That's crazy.
Right. Well, we appreciate it.
Love you, brother.
love you too, brother.
Well, we couldn't end on a better spot with that one. Denny, thank you, buddy. We
I'm
appreciate
out.
you.
Thank you,
Denny, you
guys.
rock, man.
And we're going to keep.
You guys gonna take a break, or you want somebody else to come out?
Is anybody ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to keep Marlon here for a few minutes if he wants to keep going. Yeah, but yeah, send somebody else out. Sure.
And
love you,
we
brother.
should say that Doug is our honorary person rotator.
Yeah, Doug. Yeah, Doug's helping
He's
us
just-
out to keep this shit show on the fucking rails here.
he's herding the cats for us.
Yeah, we appreciate
Literally,
Literally.
rabid, raggedy, fucking flea-infested cats from hell.
So I wanted to ask you this: once you got in with Doug, and what was your position there on his platoon then?
Okay, so I was an anti-armor recognition specialist.
Okay.
So if there's a shitload of armor out, because you're thinking you have a coalition of forces.
Right.
So you have like armor from 30 different countries out there.
Gotcha.
And I'm a guy that would always. I'm the dude that's in the barracks studying. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, if you want to be the best, you got to put the work in. So I'm sitting there studying everything I could. So, like, if you want to know what a piece of armor was, I knew what that piece of armor was. And I probably don't want to tell it on this thing, but I'll tell you guys later a story about that, where it came
Absolutely.
into play. But, it's probably not for this audience. But I was a SAW. I had a SAW, which is a squad automatic weapon, right? It's a 5.56. It shoots 700 rounds a minute.
Yep.
So my spot was in the back. I had his 6. So I had Doug's 6 of Eagle Team 1. So that 180 degrees back there, that was my field of fire. And the first firefight we got in, I was the first one to cut off a sack of rounds. So it was really cool. It was a cool deal.
Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And what year was this?
91.
91. Okay.
We're old, bro.
Yeah. A minute ago, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
People's like, a saw, what's that?
I'm sorry to say, the only reason I know that is from video games. I wish I was
Movies.
Yeah, that's the only reason I know. But no, we're good. We're glad to hear it from firsthand here.
Yeah.
So as we trade people out, join us now is Rob. Welcome, Rob.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, he's here.
Rob, how you doing, man?
Doing excellent, thank you.
Just another group of the folks here. We've just been kind of getting everybody's basics of how they enjoyed, how they got in, the years they were in, talking shit about Doug if you've got any stories. But before we get going, where are you from, sir?
I live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho right now.
Okay, is that where you were born?
No, born and raised in California, Southern California and Northern California. Lived in both those. Moved about 22 years ago with my family, my wife and my 2 children at the time, up to Northern Idaho.
Oh, very
Nice.
good. And
Coeur
your wife
d'Alene.
is Macon, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, shout out Macon. Yeah, we met
did.
her outside. She's a nice lady.
Coeur d'Alene's a beautiful part of the country.
It's-
Holy
it-
shit.
It's God's country up
It's
there.
gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a destination spot for sure.
So you're
I've
saying
golfed.
you don't want to move back to California?
Yeah,
If he said that, I'd fucking think he was out of his goddamn mind.
yeah. It's hardly worth visiting anymore. Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at, too. I was in Long Beach years ago, and that was enough of a trip for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost depressing for me now when I fly in and see what used to be small beach towns. I was born in just outside of San Diego,
Oh,
and it was
okay.
all little towns and surfing and orchards and stuff. And it's not the same, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
all that's gone now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a shame. My only time there, my wife and a friend of hers were on a work conference in Long Beach, and this would have been 7 or 8 years ago. I fly in, beautiful during the day, sunny beach, first visit, classic California. We get outside town. They took us to some fancy little beach that they liked, and as we were taking an Uber back into town, the guy is on the highway, and we hit traffic. He gets off the highway. We're on some of the beach frontage. We're going through some towns. It's getting late, and all of a sudden, for some reason, he cuts back onto the highway, and we're gridlock traffic again on the 405.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking, like, hey, man, why didn't you just keep doing what you're doing? He's like, watch all the signs. And it was like Inglewood, Compton, Redondo Beach. I'm like, oh, that's why. Okay, I
Yeah.
got you now.
That's the other side of Long Beach.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, when he was explaining it to me, I'm like, yeah, like we can rate in traffic. That's just fine. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, when we, goodness sakes, we got back from our first float in '90, I think it was, right? We left in, it was early '90s, so we got back in June or something like that. If I remember my timing right, that was during the Rodney King
sure.
event, and all the riding was going on, and it was crazy. And we pulled into Long Beach, and that's where my wife picked me up off the ship, and she got lost in Compton. The 19-year-old, 20-year-old little blonde girl driving a little car by herself, trying to find Long Beach Harbor, and that wasn't a fun experience for her at all.
Oh, no, not in Compton.
Yeah, right.
Can't imagine. No,
Holy
yeah,
shit.
right.
Yeah.
So, when did you meet Doug?
I met Doug. So for me, I was in the service. I went active duty in August. In fact, Mike hasn't been on the mic yet tonight. Mike and I went in on the same day, different platoons. But I got out of boot camp, went to what they call SOI, School of Infantry. I was 0341. I was a mortarman, and did my training there, infantry training, and went to what they call the fleet. And I was assigned to 1st Battalion, 1st Marines, Camp Horno, which was maybe 2 miles down the road from the school, and got to the fleet. And I was really blessed. I was able to get into I was in what they called Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, 1st Marines, in their weapons platoon. And I was only there for a couple of months, and made pretty good friends with the lieutenant. That was, I think he was the company captain or something at that point. Anyway, made good friends with him, and he told me that there was an opening for this stay platoon, and that I should try out for it. And I had no idea what it was, what it stood for. all I knew is I saw these guys running around PTing all the time, and they're all in shape and pretty squared away. And the guys that I was hanging out with were sitting in a formation, cross-legged on the pavement, cleaning their weapons, like 12-year-olds. And I'm like, well, this isn't any fun, and that looks like they're squared away, so I'll do it. And so anyway, I went through what they call an in-doc process, a tryout, if you will, and was one of 3 people that made it into state platoon, and that would have been middle or early of '89. So for me, that's what I call old state platoon. So Doug at that point was with Alpha Company in 1st Battalion, 1st Marines, and I started training with the with state platoon for a year or so, and then we went overseas. So when we went overseas for a 6-month deployment, I call it a West Pack. When we came back, that's when Doug started transitioning into the platoon as a platoon sergeant. He was going to start taking over the platoon, and there was only, I believe, 4 of us, if I remember right. Maybe there was only a few of us, a handful out of a 25, 30-man platoon that was going to transition into the next platoon. So that's when I met Doug. Would have been, I believe, gosh, it had to have been 1990 at some point, summer of or something like that, on my way back from overseas.
And do you two remember when you guys met, Marlin?
Rob?
Yeah, it would have been really close to the same time.
Yeah. He was there. He was there when I got there, and he's one of them great guys that, hey man, you need anything, you need me to let you get spun up on anything, just let me know, brother. I'll hook you up. State platoon's tight, man. Like, proof's in the pudding, man. I'm 55 years old. Here we are. If Doug called me in the middle of the night and he said, "Hey Reeves, I need you," I'd get on a plane. I'd fly up here, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Doug's too fucking stubborn for most of that.
Yeah,
most definitely. But it's not even just Doug though. I mean, really, if one of the gentlemen that's here, that Mendoza, I haven't seen Mendoza in over 30 years. If Dozer called me up last week and said, and he's in San Antonio, and said, "Hey, I need help," I'd be on the next plane. And it's just it is a brotherhood, literally forged in fire. And we had each other's back, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter. If I had to die, if I had to, it just didn't matter. Right. And it's still that way today. It's not a matter of money. It's not pride. It's not status symbol. I mean, hell, Dozer stayed in. He was a 1st sergeant. I was just a lowly corporal. And it's just a bond.
Semper Fi holds true. That's all I've heard.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's great.
I lost it. Man, I had a good one too.
No, that happens. It happens to us all the time. We're always drinking and stoned, right? It happens. It's okay. Yeah.
Lost that shit. I was gonna say, I'm about to retire. I've worked at a hospital for 29 years, and I've been employed for a lot of people over your lifetime, right? But I always tell everybody I've only had one boss. It's Doug Luebke. Yeah, he's the only one I ever considered my boss because he's the only one I ever respected like that.
Wow.
Well, there's a theory that goes around now, and I don't know who coined it, but you've heard the difference between a 6 o'clock and a 3 o'clock friend. There's your buddies you can call up till about 6 in the evening. You need to move a couch, you need to ask for advice, you need some help with something, and they're there till about 6 p.m. And then there's a 3 o'clock friend who you call them at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the moment they pick the phone up, you can already hear them squaring away, holstering a weapon, picking up a shovel, and going, "What do we need to do?"
Right.
I consider Doug as very few in that group of 3 o'clock friends. So I get what you're saying, fellas.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And it's interesting. When you were talking about Marlin, talking about the industry that you chose or ended up in, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I wonder if I chose my industry, if I fell into it. I got into the car business right after I got out. I knew I didn't want to go back to school. I'd done a couple years of college, but didn't want to do that. I was married, had a young child right before I got out. But it's interesting, thinking about all the people I've worked with, worked for, and Doug. I don't want this to be a Doug gush session, but he is definitely he's one of a kind.
Yeah.
No doubt.
You know,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
his passion, his intensity, and his empathy is unique.
Right.
You know, I've worked with, I've run dealerships. I've worked with the dealership I work with. We own 50 stores in 4 states, and pretty high level individuals inside there with the manufacturers and everything else. And man, I'd take Doug any day over any one of them.
Because there's like still, and I've told Doug this on the phone. I've told him, I just want you to know, I go, in my daily life, when I'm confronted by obstacles that I need to get through, a lot of times Doug's there telling me how to do it. You know what I mean?
The voice in the back of your head?
Yeah, it's Doug.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
I can see that for sure. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. You said you work in the hospital field?
Yes, I do CAT scan. So I've been at a little trauma hospital in West Texas for 29 years. So
All I could think about is the football movie. I got my cat
Friday
scan.
Night Lights.
He's fine.
Yeah. Dude, we're famous for a lot of stuff. So we got Friday Night Lights. Now we have what is it, Old Man, or the one with Billy Bob
Landman.
Thornton? Landman with
Landman.
Billy Bob Thornton. It's true. All that crap you see on there, that's where I live. I don't know why. That's because my family's there, you know. And everybody wants to get out of there. If you don't work in the oil field, you shouldn't be there. But we stay there because our family's there, and we're deep rooted in that there. So when you see
Right.
people that are in West Texas and they're not in the oil field, that's why. It's because they're just deep rooted to their family. So, you know, that's why with Stay Platoon, it really was easy for me to get rooted into Stay Platoon like that. But one of the things that we're famous for that a lot of people don't know is Chris Kyle. Chris Kyle's
Yep,
from there,
that's right.
and out by the VA, we have that Chris Kyle statue, and you go down Chris Kyle Memorial Highway. So that's the most proud thing we are. Is
That's
Chris
pretty
Kyle.
cool.
Yeah, it's something to be proud of. And R.I.P. Chris Kyle, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, listen, we can't thank you enough, Marlin. I'm going to let you get back to the
All right.
missus here and everybody else. Thank you. Whoever you want to send out, I got a couple of questions here for Rob before we let him go.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys. You guys are awesome.
Semper Fi, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank
Simplify,
you.
brother.
So what Doug told me
funny.
about you, because I've heard almost all of your names with the exception of Dozer before I met everybody today. He's
Okay.
brought it up. He said if you needed a Marine to take care of something and know that it would get done, it was you.
Wow, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doug was. It was interesting when Doug came into the platoon, and we started our workup because we shortly thereafter things were kicking off in the Middle East, and we knew we were going to leave shortly. It was going to be
Right.
it was going to be difficult, and I was fortunate enough to be one of the ones that had been with the platoon for a while, training. And I was able, I hope I was able at some point to, you know, even though I was only a corporal, in fact, I was a lance corporal when I first met Doug, able to help out where I could. You know, I knew the ropes, if you will, knew where everything was, how to get things, how to, you know, I guess I just want to say, you know, how to make the things happen. If
Right.
it, like, you know,
Sure.
if it needed to happen, I knew how to make it happen.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of the few crossovers that we see between construction and military is having someone who's on your team that might be a different level, whether it's just a couple years behind or a great, whatever it is, that having somebody you know that you can rely on
Sure.
is crucial to being able to set up a properly functioning, successful team, because you can't do everything by yourself.
Right.
And so knowing that he says something like that about you is always, I was looking forward to meeting you, because when he said that, I'm like, well, if you consider somebody reliable, Doug wants everything squared away.
Right.
So that says a lot. So
Yeah, and it's I've been fortunate. I think that's probably carried through most of my career. I've been in the management field in the auto industry for 32 years now, I guess.
That's a good
little over 30 years. And you know, it's not always it's the retail world, so it's not always easy. You're not going to please everybody, and I've never been really concerned whether I please people or not, as long as, frankly, if I know I'm doing the right thing for the right reasons and I'm putting in the effort and producing a product that I can be proud of,
Right.
The rest of it be damned.
Has it been a struggle these last few years in the car business?
The last few years, it's been an interesting question. During COVID, the auto industry, we had a lack of inventory, which supply and demand created incredible prices, which in turn dealerships at the dealership level and the manufacturers as well turned incredible profits. It was actually the most profitable time in the auto industry in the last 30 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So right now, the auto industry's a little crazy and struggling to recoup through the last administration cycle with all the electric vehicles that they've mandated. The public doesn't want them. And so now what's happening is this manufacturers are struggling to retool to combustion, what we call ICE vehicles in the auto industry, because we weren't building them. And one of the franchises I work with is Cadillac, and Cadillac a couple years ago made a mandate that they would be fully electric by 2030.
Ridiculous.
And
fuck that noise.
And the cars aren't selling.
No.
They're having to give them huge discounts, huge rebates, and nobody wants the cars.
Right. Also, when you said ICE, folks, for everybody listening, internal combustion engines,
engines.
not
Jesus.
everything they're talking about with people from
Calm
other
the fuck
countries.
down.
Yeah. Internal
Holster
combustion
your weapon.
engines. Yeah.
My eyes opened up really big.
Yes.
By the way. Hey.
So that being said, we've got a new guest that joined us here. Mike, welcome to the podcast, buddy.
Thank
Welcome,
you
sir.
for having me.
We're so happy to have you here. Rob was just saying that you two started on the same day?
Absolutely. Right in the same day.
8888.
8 of
Absolutely.
88.
Absolutely.
I suppose that's not something you're ever going to forget, so that makes a lot of sense.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
Well, that's it. Mike, where are you from, sir?
Los Angeles, California.
Born and raised?
Born in Santa Monica.
Oh, we were
Gotcha.
just chatting about how things
Still
are
live
there
there.
these days.
Yeah, they're special.
They're
Yeah.
special, yeah.
They're really special.
How do you feel about the change in the climate down there the last 12 years, 10 years?
I love it. I love it. I actually love it. It turned California, at least that LA market where I'm at, green.
Well, that's
So-
something anyway,
Okay.
then.
It is. We
Yeah.
get some water every now and then. We didn't have it for a couple of years, always on fire. And not in a good way.
Mike, I think
Right.
he's talking
Not
about
in a
the
good way.
political climate, not the.
And it actually goes in line with both, right? I think it's for a good cause, and I think it's going the right direction.
I would hope anyway. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So born and raised there. What do you do for a living there, Mike?
I do internet backbone infrastructure.
Oh, great.
So-
You're in the right business these days.
I am. Right now I manage all the for a company, one of the third largest telecoms in Latin America, but the whole U.S. side of the infrastructure.
And you've been doing that for a while now?
In telecom for 31 years.
Wow,
So-
that's a stretch.
I'm seeing a trend of people going out of the Marine Corps and getting right into the career that they were in for the duration.
Total accident, but not getting shot at anymore. So
It's probably a
it made it
benefit,
little
sure.
better,
There's
you know?
the plus.
Right, yeah. So you were 13th Marine Expeditionary as well? That's
Hey,
right.
Absolutely.
When did you join the group? Was this on the Westpac trip back? Or
I joined in. I joined. I was with Doug. I've been with Doug for almost four entire years. So I was with him in Alpha Company.
Okay.
Came in, and then when he went over to stay, we all took the in dock. The rest of us, there was about 11 of us that came from the same unit that he was in, and Mark Anderton were in.
Oh, he just drug you along. What a son of a bitch.
He made us work for it, man. That's the thing. I think we were, in civilian life, you're in an interview, right? When you meet somebody going on, it's just not that day. But we were applying for that job way before that happened, and we didn't even know it. So
Oh, okay.
just
That's
kind
fair
of
enough.
cherry picked some people, and some of us got lucky to get inside of there when he wasn't looking.
Nice.
it's funny you say that. That's the
Well,
way
I think I was the
feel.
token because I think I was one of the few Mexicans that were on there, so I came up inside of there.
Well, you need to be diverse.
Absolutely.
He was
Absolutely.
DEI before that was a thing. Who knew? Oh, that's great. Yeah, see, it's funny you say that because I know I remember the day I met Doug was about a mile from here at the grocery store. He and Nicole, his wife and my wife have been friends for years, since they were children. And it was a very quick, hi, this is my friend Michelle, and this is her husband Jason. This is Doug. Tried to crush my hand with the full-on manly Marine handshake,
Yes, he
looking
did
me
that to me
dead in
too.
the eye. Now I look back on, thank God I didn't fuck up that handshake. That could have been the end of a long-term friendship.
That is like a pet peeve. That's the worst. You get this manly dude give you a soft handshake. You're like,
Right.
I don't even want to talk to
the
you.
limp
Yeah.
fucking hand.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We've talked on the podcast before. You have to pull your hand back, apologize, and go, I wasn't looking. Let me try that
Yeah,
again.
try that again.
That wasn't right. So, yeah.
People
yeah.
start questioning your manlyhood after that.
Oh,
It's
yeah, you don't wanna
or
do
which
that.
way is he going? Oh my God,
Man,
jeez.
and knowing Doug, and knowing you guys are basically brothers of Doug's, I thought all of you were going to be the exact same way. When I shook your hands, I thought I was going to get my hand crushed every fucking time.
That's you know what? He's special, man. He is so special. That man's got a special place in all our hearts, man. He just doesn't know it. We were just talking about this. He's only a couple of years older than us, but he's still we still see him way up here going on, but he's still our brother at the end of the day. It's pretty badass.
Yeah,
We can't get these guys to talk shit about their brother at all.
Yeah, we
What the
were
fuck?
hoping to get more stories, and it's a love fest for Doug, which just speaks to because
It speaks to the man that he is.
But I hope you do tell us if you hear somebody that does talk shit about him. They probably won't be around for too long.
Oh, we would only let it happen for many of you gentlemen. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So, is this this isn't your first time coming on this trip?
No.
So we haven't asked anybody up until now because I was actually waiting for Rob because he was real quiet about it inside, and you and I didn't get a chance to chat before we got going here. Who's telling the biggest lion fish stories out there? Because I was hearing a bunch of it before we got going here. It seemed to me that maybe Marlin might have been telling some fish stories. I couldn't really tell. I don't know you guys well enough.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
No. That's the Navy. Hold on now. That's the Navy. Hold on now. Tailhook ain't going to fly in here. I might be Canadian, but I'm not an idiot.
Oh, man. You didn't have to throw that out there.
Oh,
Jesus
fuck.
Christ. I'm kidding, man. It's okay.
Oh.
You're all right.
So this group, it's nice to see that. I mean, Doug obviously says it's not the same group of people every single time, but he's got sort of some core people that regularly make it out or whatever. It obviously states to how close everybody was after all these years that you still get together. Do you have anything specific that you remember from your time in the Marines? And how long were you in, by the way?
4 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
Do you have anything real specific that you remember that was like that really stands out to you, like something that either helps you with your work ethic now? Because the origin of our podcast is all about working for a living, and
Yep.
what sticks with you after all these years? Like, is there something you can think about that goes, well, I learned that lesson?
I'll tell you right now. I think first off, I'm a much harder Marine today than I was when I was in the Marine Corps. At least I thought I was. Didn't realize what we were going through back then. Yeah. The amazing leadership that we were provided with folks like Doug going inside of there. Didn't matter what we did, just that leadership, the taking out in the civilian world. We got 6. I didn't do telecom inside of there, but I took that going up inside of there and treated them the way I was treated and used the leaderships I had just for 4 years with that person. These folks going on inside of here, and it just elevated all the way across the board. I have so many memories, mostly with this unit, going on here. It's special. But I want to answer your question, but I also wanted to give you a little backstory.
Please, yeah.
Absolutely.
We're at with this, with the way that I feel that we are, because it's we all talk to other people going on in the military, going on, even, amongst Marines going on, and we have a special thing going on. It's 13 of us that I will say on there. That's the core, really. That what we have on our messages going on here that kind of helps and sets the precedence for PTSD or going on, having a bad day, and just helping you go on, little self group. And, you have 6 guys in our unit that retired from the Marine Corps, from Sergeant Major to Master Sergeant, First Sergeants going on inside of there. They don't have that closeness with all of their people that they've served or tours they've gone on. But what I want to tell you, and it's very relatable, it's like, we all popped our cherry at the same time, and we were in that time on there, and we're in that era going in there. That I think that's what made us so much closer, going up inside of there, because there wasn't a war from Vietnam to where we came in here, and we just, man, went above and beyond and going on inside. I didn't even realize at the time what we were doing, and we were pretty innovative, and the innovative came from that leader that we're talking about here. Don't even need to mention his name, you just know. And I wanted to bring that up on there because it is very, very special. And we have folks in our unit on here that, that we're very close to, and they've gone in that SF world, and they've gone in with, warriors that, man, I couldn't even live up to on a candle going on inside of there, but the closeness is here. There's still that closeness that goes on. It's like stories in Hollywood that you hear about, but this is a real thing, and I hold it so close.
Well, that's great, man. Yeah, that's a pretty running theme. So, I want to let Rob get back to the party here. I got one last question, but I'm going to lean on you. I want you to answer honestly. Who's the better fisherman, you or Mike? Historically.
That would be me.
See, I have not thrown out my native skills yet, getting butt naked and jumping with the spear into the water. I was going to bring my old Aztec blood into this.
He's
stuff,
been saving it.
Yeah, there's no question on that one.
This year's
it's okay, Mike.
Well, this might be the year for him to bust out the Aztec blood and have it.
Absolutely.
Enough tequila and he'll do everything.
Rob, is there anything else you wanted to add, bring up?
No, it's just Mike hit the nail on the head. This group is special, and from leadership down, but it's because of the leadership. There were some other gentlemen besides Doug. Mark was a huge player in there. Barrett was a huge player in there. Diaz. We had great leadership, and it's you notice the fact of the running theme of the longevity in fields and jobs. I definitely attribute that to the work ethic we were given, the guidance we had, and at times the discipline that was doled out. Right, if we did something wrong, we were corrected, and so that might be something that's lacking in younger generations.
It's exactly why we wanted to talk to you today, because it's what we need.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
To be able to hear from some people who have had the experience and then went on to have great careers long term, not bouncing around, not hating their job and quitting and being a pain in the ass, but committed to it, take what you learned, go be a good employee, go be a success.
Well, yeah, and there's times you hate your job. I mean, every one of us. I bet you if you asked me, you raise your hand. Last week I wanted to flip everybody off and light a fire inside the building.
Yeah.
But we were taught not to. We were taught how to push past the pain and look beyond ourselves.
Control your shit, right?
Yeah, control what you can control, the controllables, right, and keep pressing on because life keeps moving forward.
That's a great way to finish. Well, listen, Rob, thank you so much. I appreciate your time tonight, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
It's
you.
great to meet you, Rob. Thank you, sir.
And whoever wants to come next, just push them our way.
Well, I thank you, gentlemen, for having me on here as well.
Oh,
man.
no, listen,
Oh,
Mike.
it's a
No,
pleasure,
listen,
Mike.
listen, I've heard good things about you, man. Doug talks highly of everybody that was with him, and I was really looking forward. John and I were both talking about it this week to get a chance to meet some people. So,
Right.
you are you one of the ones who came solo?
No, I came with my wife, so she's another story.
Oh, is that Toby?
No.
No.
So mine's Grace. She was
She's
stepping
not
away
here.
for this. She's
Okay.
yeah, she's here now. She's
Okay,
the
great.
one
Did you
born
go
and
get her?
raised in Compton, darn
Yeah.
it. And going
She's
on.
a tough chick. Born and raised in Compton.
Compton. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Marathon runner.
Marathon runner. She's just dealing. She's got lupus. She does dialysis 2 days a week. Still rock star. Still runs. Still
Right.
does Zumba 2 days a week and goes on. You look at her, you won't even tell that she's even on that.
All right, you say it was Grace?
Grace.
Well,
Grace.
shout out Grace. I look forward to meeting her in a little while. That's great. Okay.
She is awesome.
And now, is she one of the ones who will go up and actually participate in the fishing, or is she just going to be there?
She's going to be around the girls this time. I will tell you, this is another layer of the Marine Corps circle, and I know with what we have, not just any circle. She will not talk very pride. We come with a lot of pride. She raised 3 girls in East LA by herself, going. She gets this illness, will not let her family involve. It's the wives.
Yeah.
The wives that brought her over. Not even the guys. Just the way going inside of here that they brought her in and guided her the right way. It's pretty awesome, man.
Oh, that's
Well,
a great
and
video.
that's talked about a lot when it comes to military families, to police families, to firefighters, the first responders, the boots on the ground, that a lot of the guys are out there in the shit, but a lot of the wives get together and they're a family on their own too. Like, they've got each other just to lean on and to support, because while you're deployed, they need help. They need some-
We got somebody returning here.
She was one that didn't understand in the past, about the military going on, just coming up, kind of little ignorance going on. A lot of them don't understand the military until you get around the campfire. You start hearing the stories, and then the wives get on their talks going in and how screwed up we are in the head going on, that goddamn, you're always so damn angry going in. Oh, you deal with that too? Oh, you deal with that? How do you deal with that going in? Just give him his time. Let him do this, let him do that. And then that's how we do, Hey, he's having a bad day, he'll call me. I'm having a bad day, we'll send a text out there. Hey, this dude went dark. Have you talked to him for a while? Fuck, bring him back on, right? And we get him going on in here. He's been a big inspiration to my wife too. You never would think this guy right here. God damn it!
And Denny's back with us, by the way,
Denny's
folks.
back.
Denny round
Him
2.
and my
Denny
wife.
came back out.
So
yeah.
I just wanted to throw that on there. He's been good with my wife too. But I'll yap it on there going in there.
I got summoned for one story.
Yeah,
that-
great. Lay it on us,
absolutely.
buddy. Yeah,
Let's do
Denny,
it, man.
welcome back, pal.
Oh, he took his glasses off. Son of a
It's
bitch.
going to be serious. I'm putting mine on. It's so serious. Go ahead.
Okay, so one of my
Hold
favorite
that
stories.
mic in a little closer.
One of my favorite stories to tell. We were over in Saudi Arabia. It was in the Desert Shield part of Desert Storm, and we were moving around a bit. And we've been eating MREs for a while, and this Humvee pulls up, and these guys go, "Hey, do you guys want some pears?" We were so excited to get these pears. I couldn't explain that part to you, but they dropped off 2 whole cases of pears in the desert. We opened these boxes, and I shit you not, these pears are so hard you cannot bite them. They're that green.
What the hell?
Unedible. There's a guy I'd take a pear over anything right now, but so we threw them out in the sand as garbage, and the next thing you know, we see this little symbol. It looked like a couple miles away, and we pull up the binoculars, and here comes this camel. And he's coming right for us, and he's just a speck at this point. And he's running. And he comes right up and starts eating these pears. And I, to this day, don't know if he's seen from up 2 miles away us throwing pears or they can smell them, but this is the truth. We were this is entertainment now. We got some ammo, we got these, and so we start hand feeding this camel pears in the middle of the desert. And they're a big animal. Well, over the horizon come 5 of his buddies looking at old Joe getting all these free pears. There comes a stampede of them. They're all lined up, and we're feeding these camels pears by hand. And my best friend back home, Ty Campsey, is from Texas, and I was like, Ty, you ain't got a hair one on your balls if you can't get up there and ride one of them camels. And he says, if you think you could get me up there, he goes, I'll ride one of them camels. So it's like, all right, Lunger. So we formulate a plan, and the plan is, all right, you feed the camel the pears. We're going to get 2 dudes on each side, hoist them up on our shoulder, and hoist them up. And it's a 1-hump camel. Keep that in mind.
No.
Oh, yeah. No saddle, no nothing. So he gets on the back of this thing, and he's got one arm around its big old hump. And we step back. We're successful. The camel doesn't seem to mind for about 10 seconds, and it looks around, and it decides he doesn't know this guy, so it kind of starts walking, and it gets a little farther out. And Ty takes his hat off, and he starts waving it above his head like he's on a bull. Well, that camel takes off running. and they got these big long legs. He looks down and there's these giant feet, and he realizes he's not in a good spot. He cannot bail off the back of this camel, but he has no choice because he's headed to Iraq by himself. And we're yelling, "You gotta jump!
Jump!
You have to jump!" He has no choice. Well, he does, man, and he hits the ground and does a little hop and rolls about 5 or 6 times and gets up. He's running back laughing his ass off, and he gets back there. We're trying to enjoy this moment, and the company first sergeant, or battalion first sergeant, I guess he probably was. Let's just say he came over and we had a pretty hard ass chewing. We were supposed to be setting an example, and we were not.
Instead, you're riding wild camels, eating pears in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, and when we were at idle, man, you never know what you're gonna see. But we knew when to be serious and when not to. But we learned a little. We need to be more discreet.
To that first sergeant's point, you got us 5-10 clicks ahead of everybody over there. We're supposed to be the example going in there. Next thing you know, the guy's riding a camel. What the hell are they doing out there?
These guys got your back as we're riding camels, and
just fuck it off.
All right, I thought I'd share that.
I'm glad you did, Denny. That is a good story to share. I love it.
That is
all right,
awesome.
I'm gonna head back out.
We appreciate you, man. Thanks again.
Thank you, Danny. Oh, funny.
Well, there it is. So, I see you got a Harley-Davidson shirt on, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
You ride still?
I do.
Nice.
What do you got?
I do. So I've got a 2018 Road Glide, all blacked out. We actually just did a ride. We do it every year. And then I've got a Pan American, a 2022, which is kind of like an adventure bike going on. And just got rid of my 2005 Road King.
Okay.
How long you been riding?
Oh, man. I've been riding all my life, but these Harleys, I only ride with guys that served combat with. A couple guys that aren't here today, but that we started off with smaller bikes with the Road King going on. But the Harleys, after I got out of the Marine Corps and kind of after my first divorce, started really doing it. Didn't get a crotch rocket because I knew I'd go kill myself.
I started on one and learned quick. Yeah, it's not the way to go.
Yep.
And with the history of the, especially with the Harley-Davidson, I mean, they say it's the, that's the...
We are, well, it's American.
Right.
Right. We are now in Minnesota, as of July 1st, it is legal to lane split and lane filter here. So that's going to raise a whole lot of shit.
I love it as long as it's done with respect. I ride scared. I'm in LA. It's the worst.
Yeah,
but
you should ride scared.
I absolutely, man. I absolutely, but it's riding smart.
Right.
You get the neighbor haters on there, but it's not to piss somebody off. It's for your own
loud pipe save lives, baby.
Yeah, we started out this season reminding people of that. It's not to annoy you. It's not to try to be cool. We want you to hear us coming. It's important, right? I like the neighbor haters, though. I never heard that saying before.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Vance and Hines, they're not too loud, but they're just right.
Right.
Going in. The new ones come out, there's no sound, and
they're
kids
so quiet.
texting you. And
oh, yeah, stealth mode on a brand new one. They know what they're doing. They want you to go and buy a few extra parts and this and that. So
that's why Harleys don't come set up, man.
Right.
We did just last September, there was the 3 of us from the unit, and then my uncle, who's like my father figure, who was in the Army and got me into Harleys and knows these guys intimately. We rode from my house in Palmdale, went all the way to Fresno, picked up Hornick, who served in PI with him too, an Alpha company with me, and Desert Storm going in. He's a retired sheriff for Fresno. Went over to Yosemite, came down to Nevada, then stayed at Mark's house in Salt Lake, up in Salt Lake City, Marine House.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went from there and we went to Yellowstone, rode around Yellowstone, came down back, Boise. The trip before that, we went to Rob's house, but this one we didn't make it there. Boise hit 3 Marine buddies that were there that we all served combat together, that part of this unit. And then went down and saw Denny and Ty down at the Coos, on the 1 in Oregon, and then rode back down to LA. It was amazing, but it's just that we're just riding and it's so different. I won't ride with anybody. I won't be in a club. You're not going to be anybody's bitch. This thing is just...
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
it's
people
awesome.
who you already earn respect in the same way. Well, so that's great, man. We love it.
It's been. I welcome anybody that loves to ride. That's the way to love to ride. It's nothing else. And you have bikes?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I've ridden for as long as I can remember. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, now we got him off the Honda a few years ago, which was good, and got him onto a Harley like a
Yeah.
big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought the bike that I could afford at the time, a little 97 Honda Shadow,
All right.
Shadow Spirit, and it was a 1200. It got me around, but I just hated it. I started hating
How
it.
old were you when you started that one?
I bought that after I had kids and stuff like that, so I was 28. I bought that one. Hadn't rode before that since I was a kid.
Okay.
Dirt bikes and shit
All
like
of
that.
us, yeah.
And then then I got that one, and it served its purpose. It got me on two wheels, got me pounding that stress into the pavement, and loving riding again. And totally different from a dirt bike, right?
Yeah,
I used to try to kill
absolutely.
myself on the dirt bike. I was
Knees aren't
jumping
the
and-
same. Just to be clear.
Absolutely right.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. But then my beautiful bride in there, she's unfortunately, I wish she was my first. She is my second wife. She bought me my Harley for my 40th birthday.
What you got?
I got a 14 Street Glide, fully loaded.
Nice.
It's custom engine and Vans and Hines 4.5s on it, nice and loud. So it gets it done.
That's awesome, man. That is so.
Yeah, she did buy you.
Freaking
She did pick out a nice bike.
I
I
picked
shouldn't
up
say
the
you
bike.
buy it, but yeah,
She bought it.
Yeah.
I picked it out. Found it from a gentleman that he was selling it, privately, and he did all the custom work on it, and it was fully set up. I didn't have to fucking pay anything.
What you realize now, that's the way to go, man. It's kind
Right.
of stupid buying a brand new
Yeah,
one
because
now.
I bought stock 2016 Street Glide Special, and I did all my work. I got a board, I did my handlebars, I did everything. I'm looking back like I should just bought a used one for 10,000 miles and everything done. Like,
Right.
but at least I know I did mine. I know it's solid. It's what I wanted,
Right.
so it was something, right? But yeah, I say it all the time. It's the most fun you can have with your clothes on. So
It really is.
Man,
but
it is awesome.
You bring up a good point there too, and circle back a little bit about riding scared. And it's not that you're scared to ride; it's you get yourself into a defensive mode because you've got to watch for everybody.
Absolutely. Let me see if I can get this for you.
yeah, people get a little wild out there. That's for sure. Oh, is
Right.
that you?
Oh, you got the stretched on there and all.
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, let's give us a look at that, buddy.
All blacked out, not a stitch of chrome. God, that's gorgeous.
It is. I mean, I've got all the accessories to it too, but I bought the little CVO seat, the 2-piece, and then I've got the seat my wife loves to ride. About to put her in her school. Actually, another unit story here going in. We got Mark Anderton just bought his wife. He bought a CVO after trying out my Street Glide because he had your bike.
Yeah.
And tried it out. I told him because I put 200s on the back of that bike. Somebody told me about it, and I'm like, let me try it 200. All right. Oh man, best thing ever. It's like it's so awesome. So he rode it next week. Him and my uncle, they both rode the Street Glide versus he had Ultra, but it was like a Road Glide. Mine's a Road Glide. His is a Street Glide. Both of them had the Street Glide versions, right?
Yep.
And they both went to. They have 2024s. One has a CVO. One has this one with the CarPlay, everything all done up,
Nice.
going in there. But they've converted. So Mark's wife drives a Softail. I'm about to. It's already mine. Buying his wife's because he bought her a brand new Road Glide, and my wife's going to go to school when we get back after this to start doing it on her own.
Oh, it's exciting.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah.
But we keep the bike in the family, so she feels a little good. They're very close to my wife. The women are. It just kind of touches.
Yeah, it was real close to my wife wanting to go out, take the classes, learn to ride, get her own bike. She was on the back of mine for 3 weeks and went, "Nah, I'm good. I'll just sit back here and look at the scenery. Like, I don't need to ride myself." I wish sometimes she had her own so we could both just go and ride. But at the same time, it is what it is, right?
My wife has like 10,000 followers on her Instagram.
Nice.
She's always going. So she's got the little selfie stick when we're going. She's a girly girl if you ever meet her, blonde hair going. You'd never think she came from Compton, She's always on the bike going in. But
That's great.
it's awesome, man. It's awesome. There's nothing. You always get into a conversation with a guy with a bike. To your point, starting off young in high school, I had a 450 Nighthawk, but I took all the fairings off. I grew up in L.A., so La Cañada, I don't know if you know, they're all the hills in Angeles Crest. So my pegs were like razor blades, man, going in there. There's no fear back then.
Right.
So after coming back from the war, and second day ground, where I remember going, I make it out of here alive. I want to live life, and I just knew that's not going to be the right thing to do going on there.
Right, grinding those pegs to a point.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. Right. That Pan American, I wanted to tell you about the knee knocker thing. I bought it. Denny, because me and him were a sniper team in Desert Storm, always together. Right, going and in Alpha, and we have this text that we all go in and share stuff, and I go and buy this bike going on. I didn't tell my wife. I wasn't going to tell her yet. We were waiting on something, and get on FaceTime and going, "Hey, did you tell Grace about the bike yet?" But he did it on purpose. He got me. I'm like, "Oh man!" God, she goes, "What are you talking about?"
Threw you under the bus,
because that day I had come back, and I took the bike in the dirt. I haven't ridden a dirt bike. I had a 250 growing up, little Honda. I was in shorts. My wife goes, "What the hell happened to your knee?" It was all puffed up. Next day, I couldn't walk. I was like, "Oh, it's a 1250 special. That thing's crazy."
That thing will go, yeah, for sure.
Yep. But from what I understand about those bikes is you cannot, with their variable timing, you cannot lug that bike. No matter what you do, you cannot actually lug it. It will take off from any gear at any speed.
Dude, it's crazy. Because it's not loud.
Right.
So third gear, I hit 130, scared the crap out of me. That I bought it in 22. 125, it has less than 500 miles on it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it scared me that bad, and I realized that I like riding that road glide so much more with music and everything going on. I'll get there. I bought it for fire brakes and stuff,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But I don't know.
And I like being scared a little, so.
But when the body can't back up, you're being, scared that can do it. You're kind of like,
Well, what's the saying? My sense of humor suggests I'm 12. My brain thinks I'm 25. My body's asking if we're dead yet.
Sure.
So my thing has always been since our first reunion that we had in Vegas, because I've always had gray hair, and we all kind of get them at the same time. And I'll tell you what the saying is after this. I walk in, and we're at the Caesar's Palace, and we have a big room together going in, and I walk in, I'm like, shit, you guys are old. And then I look, and there's a mirror, and I got the gray hair. I'm like, oh man, I live like a vampire. I live with no mirrors in my house, because the second I see a mirror, I realize how old we are. Because when we're together, we're 18, 19. I mean, there's nothing going on there, and that's what relieves it going on. But that's my saying, man. I live like a vampire.
That's great.
That's actually not a bad deal, because it's about, I guess it was about 2 years ago now. Got up in the morning, any regular Saturday morning, rubbing the sleep out of my eyes, and looked in the mirror and went, "Dad!" I'm like, "Oh no, shit, that's me."
That is a no shitter right there.
It was a bad moment for me to go like, "Oh wow, okay, well I guess I'm getting there now." Like,
right?
I didn't notice how gray I was until his wife. The last time we were hanging out, I think it was actually here when I showed up, and Michelle looked at me and she's all like, "You're getting some gray."
Yeah,
unfortunately, it was at your house.
It was at my place. Unfortunately, my wife couldn't make it tonight, but my wife is notoriously blunt. She doesn't bother.
She'll fit right in here.
Yeah,
damn it.
exactly. She really would. She doesn't try to sugarcoat things at all. She will just tell you and deal with the consequences later. Yeah, she wasn't too easy on you that day.
And then
sure.
I did the next day. I looked in the mirror. I'm like, fuck. Really, actually, it's sped up a lot here.
Well, the fact that you grow such a shitty beard doesn't help.
Oh,
it happens.
Yeah.
Some of us can't have full heads of hair. Fuck you both.
Hey, see, hey, you got a lot of gray hair, but I got a full set.
Right, that's where
exactly.
I'm at too, right? I still got all my hair, right?
Yeah, but I got the height. That's all right.
That's right. Yeah, you got the height.
And so I got the length. It doesn't even matter.
That's what I tell everybody. I say all my growth went into a different part of my body. It's all good.
There you go.
And if you believe that, I'll tell you another one, Mike. Well, listen, buddy, we can't thank you enough for taking the time tonight, Mike. I'm looking forward to getting a chance to meet you off mic here and get to know you a little when we're not on the recording, because I know everybody will loosen up a little bit. I think that's going to be it.
I think it is too. I'm really appreciative that I got a chance to meet all you guys. It's been great.
Gents, it's a pleasure. It's an honor to be on here since the first time I heard you on here. Anytime I can hear somebody I know going on there and then just put a face to it in real life going on. You guys are good dudes. Didn't see you before. And then talking to Doug, then you find out Legend, man. Legend. That's on
Right.
another story segment. I'll tell you about it. But thank you for allowing me to be on here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely,
we
anytime,
appreciate
man.
it. So listen, before we cut loose here, I just want to say thanks again, Denny, Marlin, Rob, Mike, Doug.
Yep.
What a good time tonight.
Yep.
Yeah,
Dozer's out here. He didn't.
yeah. No, the few
He's-
other guys weren't interested, and
They
that's
weren't
totally
interested.
fine.
We're-
We get all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get to know them in person, and we'll just share
Absolutely.
some fun later. We promised everybody we were going to have a little quick one here in the middle of the summer.
Yep.
This might be split into two. We'll see how we
I
feel.
doubt it.
It wasn't crazy long, so I think we can put it out
Yeah.
there.
No, everybody hasn't heard us in a month, so I think they'll be all right with a couple hours.
That's it, yeah. Thanks, everybody, for respecting that we were taking a bit of break in the summer, but we did promise to put this one out there for you.
We still are on break. Don't
we're
get excited.
We're
Fuck.
we're still on break, and everybody that we promised to have on as guests, this is the season of guests. Don't worry, we're going to have yous. Once
Yep.
we get back at it, we just wanted a summer to ride bikes and fix up our houses and have a life. So,
Right, exactly.
So again, thanks to everybody who was with us today. Listen, you know all the socials, you know all everything.
All the shit.
If you want to reach out, especially right now, check out the website, check out the Buy Us a Beer app. If you want to help out the Slow Growing Podcast, it's right
Yep.
there. We really appreciate it. And am I missing anything, buddy?
You know what? While we're actually on a break, the easiest way to get a hold of us is texting us. 507-607 ISA 507-607-4729. We both get those messages. We'll get back to you.
Yeah, we'll definitely reach out and let us know. And in the meantime, as we always say, please remember that your work keeps the world working. John, it was good to see you again, buddy.
You too, my brother.
Sláinte.
Sláinte.